Hey fellow freelancers, Johnny5 Alive here, and welcome back to another Anthem news video. Today we're going to highlight and summarize all of the upcoming changes in the March 12th update, which was featured on the stream 2 days ago, as well as go into a bunch of tips and tricks, community feedback, and some hilariously fun Anthem stuff to show you guys here. So lots to go over today, so stay tuned and let's get into it. So it's been a few days since I did a Anthem video, and on this channel, I don't like to just cover news. I like to get into the trenches and do some extra videos as well, such as, me clearing Tyrant Mines 3 and 2, the speed run. I like to show off my builds. I try to do a variety of things, some tips and tricks, class guides, and all that stuff. Those videos are very difficult to come up with and very hard to make, but I personally really enjoy doing them. But eventually you run into an issue where you cannot exactly come up with new ideas for that stuff, and you're gonna have to transition into some sort of news updates and do these little extra videos less often. So I haven't made any videos in a couple days because I just needed to sit back and think about how I wanted to approach that. So we're gonna try something new with this video here today in terms of the news variety. So the way I want to structure these news videos for you guys is we start off with any new news, if there are any from the developers, such as today's developer stream summary. We're gonna go into some tips and tricks by the Reddit community, as well as some feedback and suggestions, and we're going to end it off with some silly stuff to end the videos off with a high point. So we're going to try this new format here today and see how it goes, and if you guys enjoy it, I'll continue to do them. Even if there are no developer news, we can go straight into tips and tricks, feedback and suggestions, and silly stuff from the community, because people are posting so much fun stuff daily, and I think it would be fun to share that with you guys in one concise little video. And I'll continue to try to come up with guide videos and things as the game expands further, because that is the kind of content that I like to deliver. So let's get into it, starting with the news. Here we have the developer stream summary. Shout out to Namtar123 who posted this 2 days ago. Now I know I'm a little bit late on this, but some of you guys have maybe missed it. I'll have a link to the video down below, as well as I'll have a link to all these posts that I use in the videos here today. So if you want to catch up and read this stuff for yourself or comment on it yourself, there will be links to all of it down in the description below. So I did personally watch the live stream, and I guess I honestly felt a little bit bummed out, and I'll explain my thoughts after. I'll give a little bit of a summary opinion at the end. So let's cover the summary first by Namtar, who's done a nice job of listing all this first. Next patch will have a lot of crash fixes and scheduled for March 12th. So we'll be going over these patch notes then, don't you worry guys. In all instances, the PS4 hard crashing, they've discovered the PS4 can now be powered back on. Now there are videos showing how that works online if you're curious and if this has happened to you. The level 1 defender rifle is doing too much damage. It's a bug. It's being fixed. The upcoming patch, you'll be able to start expedition as if you were in a group from anywhere in Fort Tarsis. So that little button that says like start expedition will now appear for solo play as well, which is amazing. They're still monitoring inscriptions and drop rates. GM2 and GM3 don't feel as rewarding as they'd like them to be right now. It's being looked into, and they said they'll try to do something not for the next patch and not for the one after, but possibly the one after that. And these are the kind of things that are starting to bum me out, but we'll get into it in a sec. Crashing into the ground from things like running into walls, overheating will no longer have a long recovery animation when landing for the Colossus. Unconfirmed if this is the case for all javelins. And as my own side note, when I have the leg stretching thing when you land, I cannot cancel it. So sometimes I get stuck and I'm like, my team's taking off, and sometimes I wish I didn't equip that emote, or at least I wish I could cancel it. So that's good that they're improving that kind of stuff. There are around 300 changes in the upcoming patch notes. Sometimes 5 changes can equate to 1 patch note. The crash and stability team is currently focused on console crashes, but they are looking into PC as well. Many improvements have been made in quick play backfilling, loading into dead missions. They've fixed what they know about, and hopefully that is all, or at least most of them. That is huge, because yeah, there were some missions that just you had to quit out and restart. So that's really good. Free play server shutdown missions have been changed to not happen until the server is actually going to shut down. So you did get prompted with that, and you were like, oh, the server's going down? The first time that happened to me, I logged out, and then someone's like, no, I'm still playing. I got duped. Open Cortex and Track X will no longer appear in free play. Common and uncommon items will be removed at level 30 in the upcoming patch. Now, I think they said hopefully, so hopefully that's in there. The combat team will be releasing a guide on inscriptions, on how inscriptions work. It will be posted to Reddit today. Now, I'm sure there's people who have covered this already. If this is something you guys want me to cover and go into full detail, I think that's worth a second video, as it will take up majority of the time in this video going through all the inscriptions. So if that's something you want to see, or you haven't seen it yet, I could cover it if you want me to do that. A random quick play stronghold will be reintroduced into the upcoming patch. In the future, they'd like to do extra rewards for quick play strongholds. I have to comment on this one because I made a joke to my buddy saying, okay, so you have that's awesome. You have a 66% chance of getting screwed. Because currently, right now, if you play Heart of Rage, it's just not good. You're going to quit out. And Temple of Scar, well, it's not that bad. It's still faster to do Tyrant Mines for the same amount of rewards. So the random quick play stronghold, being able to queue up randomly, is a 60% chance of getting screwed. Not much of a feature. But as mentioned, they would like to add extra rewards for quick play strongholds. And this needs to happen before anyone will actually use the random. Because, yeah, you need extra rewards for playing random. And they need to balance Heart of Rage and Temple of Scar to the same time to beat as Tyrant Mines before this is anything viable. For now, you're just best off playing Tyrant Mines because the random quick play won't really do you any good, especially because there's no extra rewards. That's a thing, so they're adding it in, and hopefully new rewards in the future. Mouse button 4, no longer bound to the back button for PC players. Problems with respawning behind a blocked off wall should be gone or significantly reduced. Bug ultimate bar being full at load-in is fixed, so that issue where your ultimate was fully charged when you logged in and you got yourself into trouble and you're like, oh, my ult's not working, and you die. That's apparently being fixed for the next patch. Colossus can now shield charge destructible objects such as barrels. Very cool. You can now prime Titans in the upcoming patch, which they did show off into the stream, and it was amazing. So that's cool. But there is an issue where like people were priming Titans with Frost and locking them into place. And we've seen that with our groups, and they were just like spamming Frost and they couldn't move. So it seemed like they were being primed, but like not. It was weird. They weren't actually getting the combo effect, but they were freezing in place. So we'll have to see how this works out if you can prime them with Frost and then they get stuck in place and you're comboing constantly. Hopefully they don't become just easy to smash with a Storm on your team. Mark of Ruin is now functioning properly. Ranger Grenadier component now actually reduces the cooldown of grenades. Base damage of most Masterwork weapons has been buffed to compensate for higher difficulty levels. So we won't go into the community questions here, but if you want to read it through for yourself, I'll have a link down in the description below. But I do want to highlight this one. GM2 and GM3 changes when. We don't have anything announced yet. We'd like to get ideas from the community into a consolidated thread so we can implement a plan. So I'll hunt this down on Reddit in one of the next upcoming videos, and we'll go over what people think GM2 and GM3 changes should be. But as you guys have seen from my channel, I've already cleared GM2 in about 25 minutes, and GM3 it took us 4 hours, and the drop rates are not better. The last boss of GM2 2 and 3 will drop 2 Masterworks, but they are still ability Masterworks, so you're likely not needing them anyways. But the drop rate is not better and not rewarding for playing those, so that needs to get fixed. So I want to summarize my overall thoughts with this patch, and after watching the dev stream and how I felt about it, I did feel a little bit bummed out because a lot of it was a lot of uncertainty. Like they would say, we're going to fix this, I think, in the next patch or the one after, and it was a lot of that. So we won't really know what's actually fixed. We won't know until we actually read the patch notes. And a lot of the issues that they addressed here are being like mainly bug fixes. They hinted towards the idea of adding in those crucible chests or whatever they're called, where you get chests at the end of Tyrant Mines or dungeons, and they're full of cosmetics. That might be in the next patch, but it might not be. They also said something here that they were hoping to tune up Masterworks by about like 20% or something, like making them more powerful. So I think that includes higher inscription rolls as well as higher damage overall on weapons. They were saying that the Masterworks didn't feel too great right now, even after the changes. So the reason I got personally kind of bummed out is because we were playing Anthem, and then I spent like, 20-30 hours collecting loot like after the day one patch, and I got all this loot, and it turned out to all be junk. They patch it in, and we start getting not useless inscriptions. But I still, when I made a video showcasing like 20 or 30 drops from the new patch, and there were like maybe 2 or 3 that were kind of decent, and the rest were just not very good. And now they're talking about buffing Masterworks again. So the problem I'm having with the current state of the game is you spend hours and hours and hours doing basically free play and Tyrant Mines over and over and over again until you're just bored sick of them. Then they update the loot. Then you do it again, and then they update the loot. Then you do it again, and then they update the loot. And the thing is, you continuously go back to get the new improved loot, but doing the same content that you're kind of getting bored of. And it's like, well, why didn't I just wait to get the proper fixed loot when it was final, you know? So they're talking about fixing legendaries, talking about buffing Masterworks, but it's not the next patch. It might not be the one after, but it might be the one after that. So what I started feeling like, well, why don't I just wait 2 months to play Anthem? When they finally have the loot sorted out, I can come back. That way I'm not dead tired of doing Tyrant Mines, and I can enjoy the game, enjoy the loot that I'm getting. GM 2 and 3 will be fixed by then. I can actually do harder content that gives me better loot, and that's when the game will be enjoyable. So that's kind of why I got a little bit bummed out. But I have to say, I still love the game. I love the combat, I love the gameplay, I love the javelins and the customization, and I love the community and the support of you guys here on the channel. There's still lots of fun in Anthem, and we have tons of stuff to go over, so let's check out some more news. Let's move over to the tips and tricks discussion. All right, this post came in from New York Giants 6 hours ago. After a recent post about loot, I just wanted to throw another stick in the spokes. Infinite Mob dropping a legendary, originally thought impossible. If we watch this, he's on the defense wave of the Tyrant Mines, and a legendary drops. Me and my friends and everyone that I talked to, we were under the understanding that these did not drop loot, but apparently this happened. So interesting, very interesting. JLGW saying how to murder those shielded elite Valkyries. Now check this out, just melting his shield with a railgun shooting him in the face while he's down. Now I have a pro tip for for those interceptor players out there. While this guy is up in the air with his shield up, you can actually jump within his bubble and start meleeing, and you will get stuck inside the bubble with him, and you could just continuously melee until his shield breaks and he falls on the ground, and that's your opportunity to kill him. And it also works with the interceptors ults. So when I see these guys, I jump at them and into their shield, and I just spin in circles and rip their shields apart. Fun little post by this guy here, and a tip from my own experience. There you go. Now, this is a fun little tip posted by Destro. If you're tired of landing, go this way. In Tyrant Mines, if you take a right after the first chest, you can actually just fly right through the waterfall. Next post is by Retro Monger. There's a hidden elite in the Tyrant Mines. I haven't seen anyone mention this yet, so here it is. After the second Scar encounter that spawns in the first chest, there's a hidden elite down the tunnel with all the mines. Instead of taking the straight left tunnel, branch off to the right run, fly straight down and hop down to the right a bit. There will be 2 red bar scars. Once you kill them, an elite will spawn. Happy hunting. And then there's an edit saying it's a legendary, not an elite. My mistake. So in the last one we just showed where he was flying to the waterfall, that's where he's talking about. So you drop down after that. So I'm gonna have to try that one out for myself, but that's a fun little tip. Next up is a post by Mordhau Dirk. Anthem featured store pricing for PS4, and there's a bunch of fun facts here that the cost of an armor set is basically $8.50. An emote is $4.74. The laugh emote is $3.74. This is tested on the Colossus, and then here's the pricing per shard. So if you look at the pricing per shard here, you can kind of figure out what the best deal is. Now obviously it progressively gets better if you buy the $99 pack. Each shard is 0.0083 cents per shard. With all this math done, 1 coin in Anthem is worth 0.00014 cents. Next up is something I never even thought to mention, but I did do a video, I did a review on the story, and I created a thumbnail showing off my character's face. But yeah, if you want to see your character's face in cutscenes, equip the default helmets, which is actually really cool because it's the only time you get to see your character. Unfortunately, once you've beaten the story, you can't go back and experience that. So if you were in the Legion of Dawn helmet, you kind of missed out, unfortunately. And this was posted by Sim 1 day ago. So hopefully we'll be able to replay the story in the future. All right, moving on to community feedback and suggestions. Small GUI said, stop drip feeding us crap in the featured store and let us buy every single cosmetic in the game from the Forge. The featured store the last few weeks has been complete crap, boring animations, vinyls, and armor sets. You're missing out on an opportunity here, Bioware. Remember that stream where you displayed every single customization option in the game? And if we do go open up that stream for a second, look guys, there it is. A whole bunch of options. And if you go through here, there is actually a helmet somewhere that looks like a Scar helmet. But as you can see, there were supposed to be 7 default armor sets in the game at launch, and we only have like 2 or 3. This is crazy. So he goes on to say, where's the comment? It's already designed and already in the game, but you're not letting us access it. I literally want to throw my money at the screen to buy blingy cosmetics, materials, etc., but I can't with the featured store rotation blocks, which I agree. So I'm curious to know, would you guys just like to see everything available and buy it? But personally, I feel like they're trying to decide whether they want to add that stuff to the chests from strongholds and give it to us for free or charge us for it. And now they're trying to reshuffle what they're doing because there was a little bit of backlash of people saying, how come there's nothing in the game that I can earn for free? Like, why do I have to buy everything? Yes, you could spend 61,000 coins on some of the stuff in game, but you cannot earn it fast enough to buy it on the weekly rotation. There has to be something that you can earn in game for free after completing playing the game or completing doing something that is not based on coins. There needs to be unlockable content for armor, and I think that's what they're trying to do, is sort out where they want to put this stuff. KU Fu 2 says, after 4 days of killing thousands of mobs, I've had no legendary drops. A loot game that doesn't drop loot just isn't fun. Yes, I've seen other posts about a guy having 44 legendaries on the front page, and I can say is that he got very lucky. Let me be clear, I kill everything. I don't skip mobs in strongholds. I do free play dungeons. I kill grabbits. Legendary drop rates either bugged out or extremely flawed. This isn't fun, Bioware. A loot game doesn't drop loot, just isn't fun. And I have to agree that, like, I think I've only had like 4 legendaries drop for me so far, and I have a luck build of 255 luck or something, and I played with that for like 10 hours, and I compared it to my drop rates of not doing a luck build, and it was the exact same. The luck didn't do anything for me. I had about one master work a run on average, both with luck and without luck. And my legendaries, I've only gotten like 4, and I've put at least 100 and something hours into this game. So I do think they need to do something about that. But where I think the legendaries should be dropping often is in GM 2 and 3. So like, let's hope they fix that and put them into chests for strongholds in GM 2 and 3. Chaza Hancock says, we have legendary contracts on top of regular contracts, so why don't we have legendary events pop up in free play also? By legendary events, I'm talking about events that pop up every 10 events or just really rare as how they would like to play out. Throw a few examples of what I personally like to see in legendary event. Have 3 Ash Titans walking around. Have a new type of mob from the current big 3 we have now to serve as a mini boss. Have a horde mode like event where you essentially defend a strider. So these are really cool ideas. Make use of the dungeons where we need to go rescue. So there are hidden dungeons in some of the free mode events, and I want to see those being used more often as well. So I love the idea of these like extra legendary style free play missions. If you pop into it, you know it's going to be good, and I personally feel like a legendary should drop from the chest at the end of that event. That would be amazing. This guy says, hear me out, we need a loot goblin by Fanworks. It's essentially a fat grabbit named Grabbit. I love it. A little chunky boy. There's a picture of him, and he's holding on to all of these freaking masterworks or legendaries. So very cute Grabbit there. A great idea. You've seen one of these on the fields, and you gotta smash them, and you get a bunch of goodies. I like it. Very fun. Post by C. Wiggins. I wish there was a button to thumbs up my teammates' javelins paint jobs on the mission over screen. I think this is actually a great idea. Like, if you could vote on the best paint job, maybe the person gets like some alliance EXP or some coins or something. Whoever has the nicest skin overall that's voted on amongst all 4 members would be cool. And also just a thumbs up for players that are like played well with you. Some sort of reputation system, much like how Reddit has a karma system. I like it. And here's a suggestion 6 days ago by Matthias, and I saw this, someone linked this to me and I was blown away by the artwork here. Would like my loadout screen to show all my stats. Now they did talk about this in the latest dev stream, and they said we're just trying to figure out what we want it to look like and how we want it to function. Well, Matthias M has done it for you. Honestly, I don't think you can do it any better than this. This is so professionally done. You have your health up here, and it says your drop chance to pick up health, I guess it would be repair or armor, and your armor pickup, and it just basically states all your stuff, your shield recovery, delay, your recharge rate, heat capacity, pickup radius, ammo drop, ammo per pickup, harvest chance, and then you have your damage on the right, like your elements, how many percentages. And I like how he's divided into damage on the left and resistance on the right. It's such a clean system. And at the bottom you have weak point damage, melee damage, and ultimate damage. This is really clean, simple. It's beautiful. I definitely think this is the way Bioware should do it. I love it. Very good job on this one, Matthias. All right, everybody, that's it for the community feedback. Let's finish off the video with some funny moments. When you bump into the street, when you bump into someone on the street and both step the same way, walk left and he gets stuck in a corner and the guy's still like waddling around. Oh my god, that is I died when I saw this. Literally one of the best things I've ever seen in gaming history. And I think he said down below that he could not get out of this. Like, this is just a clip. He was stuck. He had to reboot the game. I literally would have watched that for like 10 minutes if he had the full clip. I freaking love that. Oh my god, so good. Here's a post by Marcel ZZ31. Hello, little friend. And he's just sitting there with the Grabbits, waving at them. Hanging out with the Grabbits. He's rolling around, doing emotes. Now, I think this would be interesting if you did emotes, or maybe this is what's happening. He's doing emotes and the thing is reacting to him. But if you did an emote, maybe it rolled around, they react to your emotes, and maybe there's like a chance for them to try to copy you or imitate you. So when you clap, they clap. That'd be so cool. What sorcery is this? By Engineer. It's so true. Every Colossus knows the importance of properly stretching before any strenuous activity. Look at that derpy, meaty leg. That is amazing. My experience in free roam in a nutshell by the Dapper Me. Oh look, a Titan. Nope, not messing with you, Solo. 20 minutes later, poof. Dear God, how did you hit me? Those fireballs, man, they seem impossible to avoid. So, Rabs, who did it? Another dead sentinel. Just surrounded by rabbits. Grabbits? The Preston Harvey. Isn't it Garvey? Preston Garvey? The Preston Harvey of Anthem. It's so true. All right, everybody, there you have it. That's my Anthem news for the day. A whole bunch of stuff to go over here today, and I had so much that I wanted to pack into this video, and it's going to turn out to be a lot longer of a video than I wanted to, so I'm going to have to see how to trim these down to about 10-15 minutes. Now, there's not daily news on the game, but there are daily Reddit posts. So if this is something you guys interested in, you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, leave some feedback down in the comments below. How long do you like these videos to be? Do you like them as long as this one? I'll try to get them down to about 10-15 minutes. That seems to be the standard for YouTube, but there's just so many good posts that I want to go over, and because there's a lot of good posts means I can continuously do these videos. But I like the format of news, tips and tricks, community feedback, and ending off with some funny stuff. And if you guys enjoyed it too, I'll take your feedback and continue on doing this. And if it's something you guys want to see daily, let me know. I could do it daily, but I would just have to trim it down a little bit, or I can bundle it all up and do it every few days. Now, definitely going to be covering the patch notes and stuff in their own separate videos, so don't worry. When there's lots of news, I'll have exclusive news videos, but I'll try to slip in little bits here and there as we go along. Boom. So there you guys have it. That's going to do it for me here today. If you enjoyed, smash that like button. If you're new, subscribe for more Anthem content. And if you enjoy the show and everything I do on the channel, please do consider supporting me further at my Patreon page. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye now.